Hey guys, today I'm going to be ranking the top 10 best combat in games of all time. I'm going to be ranking these games on how enjoyable the combat is and how fluid the animations are. So without further ado, let's get into it. At number 10, we have Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, Horizon Zero Dawn shines in many ways, but it especially shines in its combat. In this game, you fight robots that are usually many times your size, so you have to strategically target their weak points or sneak up on them to get an edge in combat. As you progress through the game, the robots start roaming in packs, meaning you have to stay on your toes. However, as your enemies gain strength, so do you. Your main weapon is your bow, which is a very versatile tool. You get upgrades for your bow as the story progresses, such as fire arrows, shock arrows, and even arrows to control the robots you're fighting. Overall, this game has very fun combat and one of the best integrations of a bow I've ever seen in a video game. At number 9, we have Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. In this game set in the Lord of the Rings universe, you go around liberating orc encampments and branding orc captains to build your army. So naturally, combat is a pretty big part of this game. In this game, you have access to many abilities, but you'll mainly be using 3 main weapons. Those weapons are your sword, your bow, and your dagger. Your sword is used for up-close fighting, your dagger is used for stealth mainly, and your bow is used for long range. You also have a ring wraith living in you, so you gain some of his abilities. One of these is the ability to brand your enemies. Branding your enemies will make them follow your orders no matter what. You can also brand captains and war chiefs to make their soldiers fight for you. This game is also famous for its nemesis system. This makes it so that if an orc kills you, he gets promoted. This also means orcs remember you and gain power every time you die. This is a very interesting system because it makes the world of this game feel more real. Overall, this game's combat system is a breath of fresh air and is very unique. At number 8, we have Sifu. This game is different than other games in the list because it gives you no access to weapons. Instead, you have to rely on martial arts. In spite of that, the game still manages to have an enthralling combat system. In this game, you can also use your environment to your advantage, similar to Sleeping Dogs. You also gain many abilities as the story progresses. This game also has a very high skill ceiling. You're able to get very good at the combat system, and it truly makes you feel like a master of the martial arts. However, even when you're bad at the combat at the beginning of the game, it's still enjoyable to play. Overall, Sifu has one of the best martial art combat systems in any game and definitely deserves a spot on this list. At number 7, we have Assassin's Creed 3. AC3 has a great combat system and definitely the best in the franchise. It also gives you access to things like double takedowns and flintlock quick shots to make the combat feel more dynamic. This game also has unique weapons that has never been seen before in the Assassin's Creed franchise, such as Connor's hidden dagger and his tomahawk. However, while I adore the animation of the weapon variety, I will admit the gameplay mechanics can feel primitive at times. You only have access to a basic attack, a guard break, and a parry. But most of the time you honestly can't notice the simplicity of the combat because the animations look so good. It also helps that this is one of the most brutal combat systems in the series, which fits because Connor is also one of the most brutal assassins in the series. Overall, Assassin's Creed 3 has a great combat system and is still good 12 years later and is definitely worth checking out in 2024. At number 6, we have Elden Ring. Now, this game's combat is pretty similar to the rest of the Souls series aside from one thing, and that is the boss fights. Quite simply put, the boss fights in this game are absolutely phenomenal. Whether it's the Tree Sentinel, which makes all beginner players want to curb stomp their keyboard, or it's the final boss, which provides a satisfying conclusion to the game. This game is also the culmination of everything From Software learned from the Soulsborne series, and it shows. Every element of this game is refined to perfection and definitely deserves a spot on this list. At number 5, we have Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Now, this game was awarded 2019 Game of the Year, and for good reason. It has amazing gameplay and an amazing story to go along with it. But what truly shines in this game is its combat. This game has very fun parrying, but it also has something very unique. It has a posture meter. This makes it so that when you parry an enemy's attack, their posture meter goes down, and when their posture meter runs out, they're open to a finisher. This is a very fun system, and it truly makes you feel like a capable samurai. Like Elden Ring, it also has very good boss fights. However, this game also possesses a lot of the trademark From Software difficulty. The final boss of this game took me hours to beat, but it was very satisfying when I finally killed him. Overall, Sekiro provides an interesting take on the feudal Japan setting, and it has an amazing combat system to go along with that. At number 4, we have God of War. God of War has a very fresh take when it comes to its combat system. Kratos' axe is especially fun to use, especially with the PlayStation controller's haptic feedback. Throwing your axe and defeating 20 enemies just for that axe to come back to you is something that'll never get old to me. The axe also has amazing sound design and is very well animated, so it truly feels like it has weight to it. However, while I love Kratos' axe in this game, I have one complaint with the combat system. And that complaint is that I don't think there's enough enemy variety in this game. There are just a lot of basic zombies and fantasy monsters in this game, and I kinda wish they spiced it up a little bit more. However, that's one of the only complaints anyone's ever gonna have with this game, and it's a pretty minor one at that. Overall, God of War is one of the best games of all time, and it truly shines as one of the best combat systems gaming has ever seen, even to this day. Alright, we're about to get into the top 3, but before we do, if I could just please ask you guys to like and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of March, and I would really appreciate it if you guys could help us get there. So yeah, on to the top 3. At number 3, we have Ghost Runner. Now, this game does many things right, and its combat is one of them. This game's movement is spectacular, and combined with its combat and a mixed experience, you will remember. Slicing through hundreds of enemies has never felt better than in this game. This game is slightly difficult because you one-shot enemies and they one-shot you. However, the respawn time is non-existent and checkpoints are abundant, making it very easy to start over and try again. In this game, you use your sword to kill enemies armed with guns. Also, my complaint about enemy variety in God of War is completely gone here. This game has many types of enemies, all of them feeling different from one another. Overall, this game is a blast to play and definitely deserving of the number 3 spot on this list. At number 2, we have Batman Arkham Knight. Now, every game in the Arkham series has amazing combat, but Batman Arkham Knight is the most refined. The free flow combat system is simply amazing, and Arkham Knight ramps up the speed. You'll be able to punch very fast in this game. The takedowns in this game are actually pretty brutal too. I know Batman doesn't kill, right? But he still slams people's heads into a concrete wall, so what do I know? But yeah, the environmental takedowns are also amazing. This game adds multiple features that make the combat all the more engaging. Overall, this game has some amazing combat and definitely deserves the number 2 spot on this list. At number 1, we have Ghost of Tsushima. What is there to be said about this game's combat that hasn't already been said? This game has stunning visuals and fluid animations. This game also takes all the good things Sekiro did with its combat and just turns it up to 11. This game is also getting a PC port, which is great, meaning more people can play the game. Overall, this game truly makes you feel like the Ghost, and in my opinion, it's definitely deserving of the number 1 spot on this list. Alright, that'll be my ranking for the top 10 best combat in games of all time. Let me know what your favorite combat in games is, and yeah, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.